Hello. Today you are going to be working with pattern and thinking about how you can use lines to create pattern. You will be making a commitment today to either warm colors or cool colors. And so you can either use black for your pattern lines or you can use the opposite. So if you choose to color in your picture with cool colors, then you could use warm colors. No, just kidding. Hello. Today we are going to be working with line and pattern and color. Now you will be committing to using either warm colors or cool colors for your final product. So right now start thinking about what that's going to be because it might help you decide what kind of patterns you want to use for your general design. Now I am going to kind of use a diagonal. I want my orientation to be more of a diagonal one. So I am going to be using thick lines to break my paper up into several sections. Those are all going to be colored in black. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. Now, if you have a Sharpie that's not going out, you can just use Sharpie. But because my Sharpie is not very strong right now, I am going to draw my lines and then color those in with crayon. Over here, I want them to go a different direction. Now this is not the pattern yet. This is just us breaking up our paper. Now each section is going to be a different color. So kind of think through that as you're doing this. How is that going to work? This is also one of those projects that once we get the basics done, you can use any medium you want. If you want to use crayon, colored pencil, oil pastels, watercolors, paint, it's really up to you. Okay, I will be back in a few minutes with my black lines colored in. I'll see you soon. Okay, I am back. I've got all my lines filled in with that nice solid black lines. And can you tell what I chose to use? I chose warm colors. I've got reds, oranges, and yellows. My reds were a little bit tricky because as we know on the color wheel, red is also used to make violet. And so some of my colors might be a little too close to purple or violet for me. So as I experiment, I'm going to have to be careful not to let my picture get too violet colored. Same with yellow, that I have to watch out for those ones that are the yellowish green that they sometimes sneak in. But green is more of a cool color and purple is a cool color as well. You might have chose your greens, blues, and purples, which is perfectly fine. Now at this point, I have the choice of just coloring these solid colors, or I can make a pattern inside of these. For example, I think this one, I'm going to do a dark orange, like this color orange, mixed with another color orange as stripes. So I'm going back through with my one color to make my sections. And then I'm going to go through with a different color of orange, maybe a really light yellow orange, to fill it in between. Notice that I'm trying to keep my coloring all the same direction. I'm letting my colors overlap each other a little bit just so I don't have empty spaces in between. And that black, I have to be careful because the black is the strongest color. And look, it's trying to take over as always. Black always tries to take over everything. It's our strongest color. Okay, I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to work on filling up my paper and you work on filling up yours. Remember, you can use all different patterns and all different colors as long as they are only warm or only cool. Also, remember to keep in mind what your final shape is going to be because that might change the colors that you choose. You might choose warm colors or cool colors based off of the final shape. Okay, guys and girls, here's what I came up with. I got lots of different patterns. If you're still struggling with coming up with some ideas, feel free to take some of mine and use them on yours. Now that this whole side is all completed, now I'm going to use some symmetry to get my shape, okay? I decided what I want mine to be is a sun. So I am going to take my paper now and I'm going to fold it so that my coloring is on the inside, which means I take the top and I pull it all the way down to the bottom, line up my two corners, nice and straight. And then I'm going to fold and make that line of symmetry. My under paper is pretty messed up now. That's okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use multiple lines and try to do my best to only cut out the outside contour lines. I'm going to start by making the shape of my sun, which is a half circle, right? Because a sun would actually be a full circle, but my line of symmetry means I only draw half of my sun. Ooh, if I draw it this way, I can think of a sunset. That'll help me be more successful. Now I'm going to draw my sun rays coming out. Okay, I'm a little bit afraid that I'm going to mess up and start cutting my actual sun circle out. So I'm going to use a different color to see where my contour line is. That's just a little trick that I do so that way I don't accidentally cut off any of my sun rays that I don't want to cut off. You can use any shape that you want. It's just got to be something that if you cut it in half, it's exactly the same on both sides. There are lots of things. Even a frog, if you think about it, you could make that a symmetrical frog. The more you think about it, the more things that you will see that are symmetrical. So do not commit yourself just to one thing. It could be a flower, it could be an animal, a rabbit, for example, a cloud, an ocean. There's all sorts of different things that you can come up with that are a symmetrical thing. Okay, fish are symmetrical. I keep thinking of them. Now all I need to do is cut along my contour line, that line that I highlighted so that way I wouldn't mess up. Remember the secret to cutting, you move the paper, not the scissors. So as I cut, I think about moving my paper around and trying to keep my scissors pointing the same direction all the time. That will help me become successful with my cutting. Now, once it's all cut out, it will be beautiful as is. But when we are thinking about how to make art pop out, one of our secret ways to make art pop out is by using contrast. And contrast is an opposite color, right? If I were to use black in the background, that might make it pop. A black or a white or a gray would, but then also, since I'm using warm colors, if I choose to use a cool color for the background, that will really make it pop. Let me show you what I mean by that. Almost done here. Let's open it up and see how it turned out. I'm kind of excited. Ooh, look at that sun. It's so pretty. I like it. Now watch what happens when I put it on a blue piece of paper, for example. Look at how my sun pops out. Super pretty. Okay, so see what you come up with for your project. Thanks again for doing this with me. We'll see you soon.